Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to have some fun today. I'm in the middle of building out some storage here for the garage. I'm actually trying to get rid of my storage unit, which I just did a video on recently talking about getting that unit, but I decided to see what I can do about trying to get some extra space here and also what I can get rid of to maybe free up some room. And that is why today we are going to be talking about Ruroc, which I've got a lot to say. Let's get over to the storage unit. So I've been holding on to these 4 totes for quite some time, to the point where they're actually sitting here wasting space in the storage units, and that's why today we're going to talk about Ruroc. I made a video a while back cutting one of their helmets in half, and then they ended up sending me out a whole bunch of helmets themselves for me to take a look at. And I thought, you know, I should keep a hold of these because one day Ruroc is going to go out of business. Might be premature, might not be. I think it might be time to get rid of these things and free up some space.
Dead man walking! Dead man walking here! Dead man! We got a dead man walking here! Dead man walking!
Do you leave the light on after bedtime?
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Now, before we go and crush these helmets underneath this 35-inch open country AT3, and that is what we are going to do today, I want to take a moment to talk about the company Ruroc, because I've seen recently some content creators either having ties cut with them or them cutting ties. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I was never sponsored by the company, but they did send me out these half helmets in an attempt, what I consider, to kind of control the narrative. Look, there's some really big name content creators that have pushed the brand and the name of Ruroc since the beginning. And I think there was an interesting dynamic that kind of took over. And I'll use the wheel as an example. Maybe the wheel's fine, but it's out of balance. I think that there were some forces at Ruroc that were really trying to do very great things with this brand. But unfortunately, I think at the very highest levels, I feel very strongly that leadership felt like the best way to fix that out-of-balanced wheel was to just go faster. And sure, maybe you can get to a point where you get to a certain speed and you're fine. Or you get to the point where you just shake the whole thing to pieces. And that's what I think really kind of happened with Ruroc. There were some very good forces at hand there. And that's where I'll talk about the content creators. But first and foremost, I will throw a little shout out here to Oily Rag, which is run by Archie. He actually came from Ruroc, and he was what I would consider to be one of the good forces within that company. So he is no longer with Ruroc. He's actually started up, or I think bought out this company, Oily Rag. Archie was always a really, really genuinely nice person. I think he did a lot of really good things for the brand of Ruroc in a complete steaming pile of dog shit, to be totally honest with you. And I'll tell you this much. I think that some of the big content creators out there who repped the brand, I stand behind the fact that the helmet itself is probably safe. I trust those content creators that pushed the brand, felt like they were pushing a safe product. Where I took issue was the ethics of the company. And this is where I think you start getting to the point of 2 different sides of the wheel. One on the good, one on the maybe not so good. And I think the content creators, the big names out there, I think they were dealing with the really good people of the brand. But I think there was also a side of the company that those good people had no control over, and that was some of the decisions that were being made. I made a whole video on this called the Hype Cycle, and I'll link that up above. You can go check it out. And I really get into kind of the weeds of what I think happened to Ruroc, and I'll leave it at that. Look, at the end of the day, I just don't think that Ruroc made very good business decisions, and I think that company was built on the backs of content creators. Now that those content creators aren't going to be pushing the brand, that's why I think Ruroc itself is going to be dead in terms of motorcycle helmets. I'm going to say in the next 6 months, if not sooner, this will no longer be. I think Ruroc just chapped way too many people, and that's kind of how I see it. But with that, let's go ahead and crush some of these helmets. I have no idea what we're going to find other than probably creating a big mess here in this parking lot. All right, let's crush some helmets. Let's hope we don't get a flat tire. Let's go take a look at the carnage. This is interesting. First, we'll start with the Sedici. Actually held up pretty good. You can see the tire tread on there. This is the AGV. This is a carbon fiber, I believe, also. The bell didn't hold up so well. Kind of cracked all over the place. And check the tape. Did I even run over this Atlas in like perfect condition? This is another AGV cracked up. The Ruroc, this one I got. I can see the tire tread on it. Still in good condition. This one has a crack on it, but all in pretty good shape. This one cracked on the side, but otherwise looks good. That's another 3.0. The Shoei Shark also held up fairly well. This is actually really impressive. I thought these things would all pancake. Not quite. Actually, not at all. This one is an awry. Cracked at the chin bar there, but otherwise pretty good shape. Scorpion, super crunched. Super crunched, actually. This is the XO 1400. That thing got pretty well smashed up. We'll do another round. Let's run these things over again. I'm actually super surprised how well these things held up. They just took a 6,000 pound truck. Let's do that again.
Round 2, fight.
All right, that time I heard quite a bit more crunching. Sedici, pretty well toast. The foam is in good shape, but actually these things held up way better than I would have anticipated. They got ran over by a 6,000-pound truck twice. Clean these up as we're going. I did bring a broom with me also, so that I can clean up the parking lot, since these landscapers are just in here. Probably not too pleased, as they were doing a bunch of cleanup. So Sedici, the shell cracked kind of at the crown there. The foam seemed to have held up just fine. This AGV here, honestly, for being already cut in half helmets, really held up quite well. The bell got decimated. I mean, this thing's pretty well toast. This Atlas, this would be, what is this one? 3.0. Is also still in fantastic shape. For being a anti-Ruroc as a company guy, that's pretty damn impressive. This AGV, pretty well toast. This Atlas, I think this is a 3.0 also. Just cracked a little bit at the chin bar here, but still actually intact. Still actually all the way through. One thing with the Rurocs that they are known for, failure points, is the foam here just separating from the shell, being a quality control issue, but it didn't crack at all. Wow. Okay. That's pretty good. This is a 3.0 also, I think, but this thing actually dug into the ground. Cracked there, but not all the way through. Cracked there, I don't think all the way through. Oh, this is a 4.0 because it has that Neutronian.
We're going to have this non-Newtonian fluid which hardens on impact. Non-nutritive
cereal varnish. It's a beautiful product.
So that did crack, not completely across, but slightly through. This also is a 4.0 because of this Neutronian whatever liner, I believe. This one didn't fare so well. Cracked up pretty good, but still all intact. You can see it kind of cracked through, but actually still held together, except for in that one spot there, but the rest of it's still pretty held together. That one I would say is pretty well toast. This Shoei, this is a I forget which model this is. Neotech is just demolished. But this is also where I don't know, do you want a helmet that actually crushes a little bit and absorbs some impact versus a super rigid, hard carbon fiber? The whole idea is that when you're stopping rapidly and you hit, you don't want your brain continuing to go forward into your skull. So I don't know if you actually want a little give. I know you don't want this. This is cracked all the way through. This looks like it's just a plastic helmet. There's no like carbon fiber or fibrous material keeping that together. I know you don't want that. But I don't know if you want some give. I would say you arguably don't want complete separation like that either. You know, this is pretty well cracked up. This Scorpion helmet is just absolutely demolished. This I could say you don't want. I mean, the foam's cracked. It's all cracked throughout the inside. Now also understand these helmets are all already cut in half, so they're already structurally compromised. I want to be fair to these manufacturers. This is not a scientific helmet measurement at all. As a matter of fact, it's the least scientific, so don't use this in terms of purchasing decisions because, again, it's certainly not a scientific test, but interesting nonetheless. So with that said, I'm going to ask, go subscribe to Oily Rag. They just started up a YouTube channel. Super pumped to see Archie doing that. I just wanted to get these helmets out of my storage space. Helicopter. and free up some space, and thought this would be a fun way to demolish them. I actually thought all of them, every one of them, I thought under the weight of a 6,000 pound truck would be flat as a pancake, and that just simply isn't the case. Very shocking. So with that, thank you very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. I will see you guys next time.